Welcome to the Mastering Business Skills podcast, where we interview successful small business owners who share their own journey, mastering the skills they needed to grow and be successful in their business. Learn the struggles, the wins, and all the things they learned along the way, so you can cut down on your own learning curve.
Welcome to Mastering Business Skills. On today's show, we're talking to Lauren Clack. Lauren is a business strategist and coach who helps purpose-driven women transform from overwhelmed entrepreneurs to confident, profit-focused CEOs. With over 20 years of experience in business operations, leadership, and strategy, she's built a multi-seven-figure brick-and-mortar business and is now focused on coaching and mentorship, proving that success doesn't have to come at the cost of freedom. Lauren specializes in simplifying business growth, helping women ditch the guesswork, build sustainable revenue, and scale without burning out. Known for her problem-solving skills and ability to identify overlooked opportunities, Lauren equips her clients with clear, actionable strategies that turn effort into results. Whether it's streamlining marketing, optimizing sales, or implementing systems that work for them, she empowers women to take control of their business with clarity and confidence. Lauren, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. I always think we all sound so wonderful from our bios.
Right? Yeah. It's great. It's great when somebody has a fantastic bio. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what inspired you to start your business, actually both businesses, because I know you and I have talked before, and I know you had the brick and mortar business. So if you want to even start a little bit with that background and then go into the other, because I found that really interesting when I talked to you.
Yeah, sure. Right now, I help women bridge the gap between being good at what they do and being good business owners. And that means supporting women with the systems and the structures and just the help in their business that allows that business to support the growth in a sustainable way, not in us getting stuck into something that we have so much energy for, but then can't sustain longer term. And why I started it, the business that you're referring to, I had a brick and mortar business that I took to multi-seven figures, but I didn't love it. And people always kind of go like, it's quite strange when something comes your way, you just get stuck in, you do the work, but it wasn't something that you love, it wasn't something that you were passionate about, but you just do it because that's kind of what we are, doers. I think if you're in entrepreneurship, you're just a doer, you get stuff done. But I had been in business for about 10 years when the pandemic hit. And as I think for many of us, I took that opportunity, or forced opportunity, to sort of reassess what my life looked like. And a huge part of that was, is this what I want to do for the next 30, 40 years? And the answer was a resounding no. And I took that time to reassess, what do I want? What I would love something that I'm passionate about. And I think for women, particularly women, not exclusively, but we're so good at putting ourselves last on the list of priorities. We are mothers, we're wives, we have our pets, we are homeowners, we're daughters and friends and sisters, and then comes us. And a huge part of me building that business was being responsible and being good and just doing what was expected of me. So when I sort of took stock of my life and my business, I wanted something I was passionate about. And I started coaching. So that was, what am I good at? I'm good at business. What do I love? Genuine conversations with women, beyond the fluff and the surface level, let's get stuck in. And I had heard on one of my personal development rabbit hole journeys, nothing bad happens when women make more money. And that stuck with me. And I loved that. And I just dove into business coaching.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell me, what are some of the most important skills that you need to start your business? How did you acquire those skills? I mean, was it formal education? Was it self-taught, mentorship, trial and error? I mean, I think we've all kind of done the trial and error on things, but what do you think are the most important skills?
I think it's a combination. So I don't have a degree. It's something that I felt had a lot of feelings about for a long time. But when I got the first business opportunity, I was young and I was eager. And an opportunity came across my desk, I fell into my lap, and I took it because it was all about the freedom. There was no glass ceiling. There's that earning potential, being my own boss, which in your 20s is quite appealing. And the big thing was flexibility. I don't have a degree, and while that can be valuable for a lot of people, there are so many skills and personal attributes that are sometimes worth more. And that's resilience and resourcefulness and hard work, effort. That mindset of always knowing that you can learn more and can get better. So, yeah, that was me. But a big thing is I also invested in support throughout my journey, in my previous business, in my current business. I have felt like when I needed to level up or upskill, I didn't have the knowledge that I needed for a particular task or a next level timing. I invested in coaching and mentorship, but I also have invested in support in terms of a team and freeing up my time, buying back my time so that I can focus on areas of my business that needed me more. I hope that answers that question.
I love that you didn't have the degree and all of that. I did get the degree and I never use it. I decided I went and I got the graphic design degree, and then I started a graphic design business and realized I was like, that is not where my passion is. This is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. So, yep, I completely understand that.
A huge thing I talk about is a large part of what I do is the difference between being good at what we do versus being a good business owner. And so many of us, when we start businesses, it's because we're a good technician, not necessarily good at all the other skills that it takes. So absolutely, a degree is valuable in teaching you to do a specific thing, especially anything technical, obviously medical or anything like that. But for a lot of, information is everywhere, but it's so much about what do we do with that? And that's the big thing it's like they don't teach us the things we really need to know in school. I would have loved to have been taught how to do my taxes, in school, or how to budget yeah. But so for some people it's great, and some people need that to feel confident. Some people need it to actually do their jobs, but I don't believe it should be something that holds you back if you don't have it.
Right. I agree. And looking back, what skills do you wish you had actually learned sooner?
I don't know if it's a skill. I think it's just a mindset or something that I was taught. Is this whole 80-20 principle? In coaching we call it, focus on the needle moving activities, but it applies to so much in life, is that sometimes you have to forego the 80%, focus just on the 20%. And in terms of needle moving activities, it's focusing on what works rather than trying to reinvent the wheel. We often are spread too thin. We're trying to do everything. And I suppose a huge part here is figuring out what your 20% is. Or as a business coach and a strategist, I like to say 5%. If you're really living in your zone of genius, you shouldn't be doing more than the things that either you absolutely have to do in your business or the things that really light you up. It's probably a balance of both. But a big thing in terms of a skill it's probably a skill, but it's something that is so important, is tracking what you're doing, tracking the activities in your business, the metrics in your business, the finances in your business, because you can't manage what you don't measure. And so how to know what to focus on. You need to be measuring what you're doing. Where are you effective? Where can you, make changes to get better? And Erin, another thing, again, maybe not a skill, or maybe it is a skill, but it's mindset. It's how do you constantly work on that energy and that mindset of of being in that identity, being the person who knows they can achieve certain things. I'm in the business space, but something I come across all the time is the doubt and the imposter syndrome and the confidence issues. And this is 6, sometimes 7-figure business owners, and they still have the same issues that we have when we're just starting out. And a huge part of the work I do is building the confidence in how we make decisions and the decisions that we make, sometimes from a very tangible perspective, but it's how do we stay. I'm not a mindset coach, and kudos to them. I think they're so needed, but everything is so much about energy and about staying in the right frame of mind to know that your success is inevitable, to know that you absolutely can achieve these goals that you've set for yourself. And that's a skill. I think it's a learned skill, being able to stay in the right mindset.
Yeah. I see so many people that teach mindset anymore, but yeah, it's such an important part, but I wish more people also taught all the things that go along with the mindset, or how, like, or when you do have those doubts, like something to get out of those or shift things a little bit.
It's the tangible. I think that's what I actually had a conversation with an energy coach this week. It was talking about what are the tangible things I can do? How do I take this very broad concept of mindset and energy, and how do I translate that for a very A-type personality, a very 3D type person? What are the things I need to do? Like, what can I do to get into that good space? And there are some things.
Yeah.
There are definitely physical, tangible things or exercises that you can learn.
Yeah.
So if you could give one piece of advice to someone starting a business that has no prior experience, what would that be?
My very first business coach said this, not as a judgment to me, but it was something that stuck with me, is that learning is free. There is absolutely no excuse for ignorance. And, you can listen to podcasts, you can read books. If you can't afford to buy books, you can go to the library, YouTube. There is so much information around. So 100% go and upskill. Learn the things you need to know to be successful in a particular area. But then more importantly than the learning, it's to take action. Don't get into the habit of constantly feeling like I need to learn more before I can do something, or I need to be perfect at something before I can get started. There is absolutely no such thing as perfection. It's an unattainable standard. And action creates clarity. So you take action, messy action, if that's where you're at, and then you tweak and you improve. But it's absolutely about the doing. It's about taking that action. Yeah.
That's awesome, because I run into so many people I know that are like, and have told me, oh, I can't launch this yet because it's not perfect. And I'm like, what are you waiting on?
Done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Done is better than perfect.
And that's what I told, the last client I had that said that to me. And I'm like, it's never going to be perfect. We are always going to change things, think it's not good enough. Nobody, got the point on that. But honestly, do it. It is, what I have
100%. Best advice. And I know that from experience, but also from, from my clients. It's and you build that confidence. Confidence comes from taking action. It doesn't come from learning new things. Sometimes we feel that that's what's making us more confident, but it's actually the doing, the learning, and the implementation that gives us that real boost.
Yes. And I think sometimes that holding back for perfection is actually a fear of success, which sounds, ridiculous to people, but but it's that, if I don't put it out there, I can't fail at it.
Right.
So, and if I don't put it out
100%.
there, it can't go like bigger than I'm expecting. And, I
Yes.
won't know what to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
100%.
So, how do you continue to learn and improve as a business owner now with what you're doing?
Probably the same answer as before. I love listening to podcasts. I love reading, but I also love getting into rooms with other people who are a few steps or many steps ahead of me. They say you should never be the smartest person in any room or in every room, but
Yeah.
I'm big on investing in mentorship, and I love masterminds. So just there's something about the camaraderie and the support of other people, not exactly at the same stage as you, but who have gone through the same things, or who feel the same things, who have had the same challenges and moved through them. Just
Right.
from being able to emulate that, or to just talk about it in a sort of a safe, collaborative space.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what does success mean to you? And how has your definition of success changed over time? Because I know sometimes in the beginning we think, oh, my success will be this. But then in reality, when that sets
Yes.
in, that is not
Yes.
what our success necessarily is.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Success is different for everyone. I talk about this a lot. And for some people, it's the big house and the fancy cars and the designer handbags and clothing. And that's totally fine. If that's what lights them up, then who are we to judge? For me, it's peace of mind. It's calm. It's the quiet. I moved to the countryside. I decided that I wasn't going to force the whole city life. But importantly, I think that the thing that has changed for me, initially, I thought success was the holidays and buying the house and then upgrading the house and then upgrading the house again. But my definition of success now is choice. I think choice is a luxury that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
And when you have the luxury of choice, you're better off than the majority of people. And it means you have options. So many people don't have options. So I think choice is a huge deciding factor in success for me.
Love that. That's great. Yeah.
And do you have any personal daily habits or practices that have contributed to your success in any way, or anything that you do that you're like, I can't start my day without doing this first, or end my day without doing this?
So I love to recommend a morning routine, and for some people that sounds so structured, but it's essentially something to learn. I believe that some personal development guru once said, if you're not learning, you're dying. And so I strongly believe in something to learn. So whether that's just a podcast or you read something to support your mind or your mental health. So that could be affirmations or meditation or journaling or vision work, something like that. And then something to support your physical body. So I strongly believe in some form of movement. And for me, although I love the yoga and I love going and doing a little bit of a workout in the gym, I never used to, it's about getting out of my head.
Yeah.
The thing about physical movement is we are so in our heads, generally as women, but as business owners, moms, wives, all of the other things, there's so much going on upstairs all the time. And it seems that physical movement is one of those things where you can't be in your head when you're being in your body and you're listening to your body. So it's often the rare times that we are fully present. And I love that. And then I think it's Brendan Bashard who has the 3-2-1 evening routine. It's like no eating 3 hours before bedtime, no work 2 hours before bedtime, no screen 1 hour before bedtime. And it's, I sometimes fail in that, we all fail at some point. We just keep doing better. But a lot of people are on their screens at night, and so many people underestimate the benefit of great quality sleep. And it's one of the most underrated things for health, wellness, success, everything. And a lot of that can be supported if we just do better at night, with our evening routine or our environment.
That's true. I'm guilty of reading at night on my Kindle. And so I'm guilty of that. And I usually fall asleep, find it laying in the bed the next morning.
Scrolled like 5 pages forward. It's not, the reading is great.
I wasn't right there. What happened?
It's the reading is great. It's just the Kindle that's not great at night. But yeah, I mean, I'm a paper book person. My hubby's a Kindle. And it's like we each have such strong beliefs about our, what works for us. But you have to figure out what works for you, what you can do. And we can't be perfect all the time. We just have to try our best.
Yeah. God knows I'm not perfect. And I don't think I want to be. I mean, that makes us who we are. Is that?
Yes. Oh, 100%.
So, tell me what's next for your business, and are there any new skills that you're excited to learn going forward?
I've been coaching for 4 years now, exclusively one-on-one. And it felt earlier this year like the right time to sort of dip my toes into a group program. And I did. I launched it last month, and it was like my tribe. The group of people, the group of women for whom content creation on social media doesn't come naturally. I'm not an influencer. I struggle with the consistency of social media. So I built out a little 6-week incubator that was all about building out marketing, sales, and lead generation processes that can be broken down into the daily steps, because it's all about the actions that we take daily, and sometimes the incongruency between what we're doing now and what it's actually going to take to move us to where we want to be. So I've just launched that. That's new. And, with lower ticket and with group programs, it's different to one-on-one, just in terms of there's more things you need, like sales pages and like payment gateways and funnels and all of that, which was so outside of my wheelhouse, because I've built my business on relationships and one-on-one, and I've sort of never done that before. So that was like an up level. And obviously I got some support. I learned some new things for myself on the way. So yeah, there was that. And then I am reworking a one-on-one high ticket offer, which is going to be all about supporting women already at 6 figures, looking at scaling to 7, which is very much in my wheelhouse. Helping them to step into their CEO roles, their CEO identity, and just changing what business looks like from being super involved and 100% necessary in a business to being able to step back and actually enjoy the life that we sort of envisaged for ourselves when we started these businesses, because none of us started it to work more, earn less, never have times with our families, miss out on, opportunities and time with our kids or family. So it's nice to be able to reclaim some of that time. So I'm excited about working on that as well. But yeah, that's what life's looking like for me at the moment.
Awesome.
Nice. And I love that you pointed all that out, that, we don't get into business to do, to work 24/7, or, and setting those boundaries is important with, with our clients, with our families, friends, whoever it is. Cause I know, I don't know about you both, but I've had that over the years, especially when I started, like friends would think because you work from home, you're not working, you're available whenever. Or clients would take advantage, and they would call me. I had clients call me at 5:30 in the morning. I used to have a client who would call me at 2 a.m. when she had a thought, and I would answer my phone because it's the middle of the night. And instead of saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry that I called you in the middle of the night," she'd say, "Well, I have you. Let me tell you."
Oh my goodness!
To the point where I would get on with clients, and now it's kind of a joke, and I'm like, not that you would call me at 2 a.m., but that has happened. So, I have a thought. Just email me.
I love that conversation around boundaries. I've always said boundaries is how you teach someone what you will and won't accept. It's not for other people, it's for you
Yeah.
to like honor your own what will I and won't I accept. And
Yes.
it's a tough conversation for some people. Some of us are such people pleasers, and we were brought up to just be good and kind and accepting. And we're all recovering people pleaser.
Yeah.
But yeah, Erin, I mean, what you said, it's often, and it's often the heart-centered, the purpose-driven women. They start these businesses because there's a huge amount of passion and a desire to impact other people, even if it's in quite a tangible way. It doesn't have to be healing or esoteric or anything like that. You want to make a difference, but then you build the business around you so that you are the central point of all decisions. Every answer by a client, every supplier question, every design, like everything comes through you. And it's just a recipe for burnout. And you eventually start to resent the business that you created. So that's why I always say, and it's true, I wish it wasn't, is that people tend to come to a business coach when something's wrong or when they've realized something needs to change. But there's so many important things that would be so beneficial for people in the earlier stages, as you're building out the foundations, map out those systems and the SOPs and learn before you hire staff proper ways to interview, onboard, hire, train, and manage in ways that frees you up and allows you, the expansion in the business without being the bottleneck, because that's often what happens as you grow. And we can grow, like most businesses can grow, but then there comes a point where growing is different to scaling. And as a bottleneck, as the business owner, it's quite difficult to step back, that little like panic, my little baby is now, you feel out of control. And it's about giving back control in a way that is manageable and sustainable longer term.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us, when we start out, we do wear all the hats. So learning how to delegate is sometimes difficult, like we think, oh, we can just do it faster or better ourselves.
Right.
Where we're not thinking long term. Like if I just take this extra time to train this person on how to do this, it then saves me so much time and money in the long run on my side to have them take over.
It's like that belief, if you want something done right, do it yourself. But then you would be a solopreneur for the rest of your life. It's those beliefs that what do we believe is true that's not actually true. Like for a lot of us who've had money issues or mindset around money is like money doesn't grow on trees, or you've got to work really hard to make money. But that's not true, because if it was true, it would be true for everyone. And we all know some people who are charging $200,000 for a call, and then you have people hustling and they want to charge like $50 for a call.
Right.
So it's like we have to, a lot of the time, look at what am I believing about the situation? Is it true just for me, or is it true for everyone? And then what can I do to sort of move through that?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for taking the time today to talk to us and share all of that with us. And we're going to be sharing your LinkedIn profile and your contact information in the show notes. And for everybody listening, we hope that you come back next time for our next episode. And we will talk to you soon, Lauren.
Thank you so much for having me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you.